So, hello everyone, I am Pratik and today I am going to teach you about the topic skeletal system, which comes under the chapter locomotion and movement. In that chapter, we will divide the chapter into two parts. One is muscular system and one is skeletal system. So, this second part I am going to teach you today. Okay, you can see in the screen like human skeletal system. This is a skeleton of our body. Fine. Here many bones are present in our skeleton. So today we are going to read everything about each and every bone. Fine. So total how many bones are there? What are the bones present in which place? Everything I am going to tell you in detail. Okay. As per need we will be taking the class. So little bit extra will be there from the common NCERT lines. Fine. So let's start the lecture today. So in the skeletal system, okay, the skeletal system consists of framework of bone. What is called framework? If you can see this skeletons, okay, the skeletons are made up of few bones, correct? And some bones are connected to other bones, and some bones are connected to other cartilage. So we can tell the framework of the whole skeleton can be made up of either bone to bone connection or bone to cartilage connection. That is fine. Now the skeletal system is again divided into two parts based on their location where they are present. One is called endoskeleton and other is called exoskeleton. Now first we will see about the endoskeleton. Normally the skeleton which comes in our mind, okay, is the endoskeleton, the one which I have shown in the picture. Fine. Here in the endoskeleton, first kind of question they can ask in the NEET. In the animal kingdom, if you remember, I taught you about the three germ layers: outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm, inner endoderm. So here they can ask the endoskeleton is having the origin from which of the three layers. So you have to tell it is mesodermal in origin. In body fluids and circulation also I told you that the heart is mesodermal in origin. Now here the endoskeleton is living in nature. Why it is living in nature? It will have many blood vessels supply, and if you know, the long bones are the site of production of blood. Fine. Now where it is present, I told you in the basis of location we are going to differentiate them. So endoskeleton is present inside the body, okay, and in vertebrates, not invertebrates, in the vertebrates the endoskeleton is formed of bones and cartilage. So we have read about bone and cartilage individually in animal tissue, if you remember, correct? Now exoskeleton, exoskeleton is ectodermal in origin. Fine. So the outermost layer will be forming the exoskeleton. Now there is every time some exception to it. So one exception which is given over here, you can see that fish scales. What scales? The scales of the fish. Fish scales, crocodiles and turtle, they will be having mesodermal. Okay, the origin of these fish scales and crocodile and turtle, okay, whatever is present on their exoskeleton will be mesodermal in origin. Now these exoskeleton are developed from epidermis. Okay, dermis, you know, so the upper to the dermis is epidermis. So these are developed from epidermis. Some examples for exoskeleton is hair, okay, hoof, nails, horns, claws, feathers. These are some example of exoskeleton. And one more major difference is this is non-living in nature. Fine. And it is present outside the body. Outside means what? On the outer surface of the body. Okay, unlike endoskeleton which is present inside the body. Now in the human skeletal system, okay, in the human skeletal system, first of all we need to know that how many bones are present in human skeletal system. So first of all, 206 bones are present. 206 bones are present in human endoskeleton. We have divided the human skeletal system into two parts. Okay, if you see in one axis I have few bones, and other to the axis I have few other bones. So based on that I have separated our whole endoskeleton into axial skeleton and appendicular skeleton. Fine. Axial skeleton, out of 206 bones, it will have how many bones? 80 bones. And our appendicular skeleton will be having 126 bones. No need to have any fear. Each and every thing today will be clear for you. Okay, everything will be cleared for you. Now, in this exoskeleton, okay, not exoskeleton, in this endoskeleton, that is axial skeleton, these 80 bones we need to know first. Correct. So there are some bones on the head, there are some bones in the vertebral column, there are some bones in the rib cage, and if you remember in breathing and exchange of gas we have read about the flat bone, that is sternum. Correct. So we need to know what are the bones exactly. So head in the head region, head means complete head, how many bones are present? If they will tell, you have to tell 29 bones are present in head. Or if they are not giving head as the question, they will definitely give skull skeleton. Clear? So skull skeleton has how many bones? 29 bones. In our vertebral column, how many bones are present? 26 bones. A single flat bone, that is sternum, has only one bone. Ribs are having 24 bones. That means here we can tell 12 pairs. Fine. So ribs are paired. Okay. Remaining the sternum is a single bone. Now if you can add it, 24 plus 1, 25 plus 26, 51 plus 29, it is equal to 80 bones. This much clear? Now you come to appendicular skeleton. Appendicular skeleton has how many bones? 126 bones. And it is very easy for us, like what if I tell each of our limbs, whether it is forelimb or hind limb, each limb has 30 bones. So let's see, bones of the forelimbs, how many are there? 30. Here also 30. But we have two forelimbs, so into 2 we have to do for both. So this equals to 60, this equals to 60. Total how many? 1, 2, 0. Very easy, out of 126 we got to know about our 120 bones. Now pectoral girdle. What is pectoral girdle? I will show you that. Fine. Here the joining part of the four limbs, okay, will be called as the pectoral girdle. It will have some bones. How many bones? In each half of the pectoral girdle, two bones will be present. One here and one backside. I will tell you after some time. Now you tell me total bones. In each half, if two bones are there, we have two halves. So how many bones will be present? 4 bones will be present in pectoral girdle, and in pelvic girdle, to which our hind limbs will be attached, will be having how many bones? 2 bones. So 4 plus 2, 6 plus 120 is equal to 126 bones. So 126 bones we got to know in appendicular skeleton, and 80 bones we got to know in axial skeleton. Now in this bones of the head, that is skull skeleton, I told you. Fine. In the skull skeleton, few things we need to know. Fine. This skull skeleton will be having 29 bones, I told you. Out of that 29 bones, 22 bones will be there in the skull region. So how many bones in the skull, if they will ask, means you have to tell 22. In skull skeleton, if they will ask, means you have to tell 29. Fine. Or head they will ask, means 29. Now we got to know about these 22 bones. Now again we have to get the calculation for another 7 bones, correct? So 6 bones will be associated with the middle ear, that is called ear ossicles. Very tiny bones will be present, that will be called as ear ossicles. Fine. And a single U-shaped bone will be present called hyoid bone, that I will tell in further slides. Fine. So this one any doubt? Like the skull skeleton will be having 29 bones, out of which 22 will be present on the skull. Okay, in the skull how many? 22. Another 7 bones, 6 will be ear ossicles and 1 will be your hyoid bone. This much clear? Now we need to know about the cranial bones and facial bones. In out of this 22 bones, 8 will be the cranial bones and 14 will be the facial bones. Fine. In the cranial bones, okay, how to know about all the 8 cranial bones? The frontal part, okay, the frontal part of the bone will be called as what? Your this is frontal bone, parietal, occipital, temporal, sphenoid and ethmoid. These are the bones. Just remember the dance classes. Like your dance teacher will be telling you 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct. So I'll be telling you 1 frontal, 2 parietal, 1 occipital, 2 temporal. Okay. 1 frontal, 2 parietal, 1 occipital, 2 temporal. So we got to know what? How many frontal bones are present? 1. How many parietal? 2. How many occipital? 1. How many temporal? 2. That's why I told you 1, 2, 1, 2. Frontal, parietal, occipital, temporal. Now sphenoid bone will be also 1. Ethmoid will also be 1. So we got to know about the 8 cranial bones. Now we need to know the calculation for all the 14 facial bones. Okay, see this skull smiling, correct? Don't think that skulls will have teeth. Skulls won't have teeth. Here we need to know about the bones present in the face region. Fine. Do you know one bone which we call as jaw? This jaw bone is known as mandible. What it is called as? Mandible. If you have read about cockroach, cockroach also had mandible, but in cockroach it was paired structure and it was present on the upper side, but we will be having mandible on the lower side, and it is a movable bone and it is 1 in number. After mandible you can see here maxillae, okay, where my mustache is there, inside that 2 bones are present, one this side, one this side. What it will be called as? Maxillae. How many maxillae? 2 in number. Then if you see here on the skull, this one, okay, here inside to the nose, a single bone is present. That single bone is known as vomer. How many bones? Single. Now here 2 nasal bones will be present. Where? Here 2 nasal bones will be present. How many nasal bones? 2. Here lacrimal gland is present, if you know. So here one lacrimal bone, here one lacrimal bone will be present. So here let's write lacrimal. How many lacrimal? 2. Fine. Now here what will be present? These bones. This one and this one. These two are known as inferior. Conchae. These are also paired structure, that is 2 in number. Fine. Till now how much we got to know? Mandible 1, 2 maxillae, 1 vomer, okay, 2 nasal bone, 2 inferior nasal conchae. Okay, and 2 lacrimal. Do you know cheekbone? This one, cheekbone. When you are seeing a small child, you are doing what? Like this. So this is the cheekbone. This cheekbone is known as zygomatic bone. Here, this side I am writing. Okay, zygomatic. How many zygomatic? 2. Then here two bones are present called hard palate. So this is known as palatine bone. Okay. Now, how many facial bones? Tell me. With me, you count 1 mandible, 2 maxillae, 1 vomer, 2 nasal bones, 2 inferior nasal conchae, 2 lacrimal, okay, 2 zygomatic, and 2 palatine. Everything except the mandible and the vomer are paired structure. Clear? So let's count 2 plus 2 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 bones of the facial or face region over. Now if you see the skull, okay, the skull is divided into some sutures. Okay, 3 names we need to know. As I told you, 1 frontal bone is present, 2 parietal bone is present, and 1 occipital bone is present. In between them they are joined with some fibers. Okay, they are joined with some fibers. So there they are having some sutures. So the name of the suture is important for us. Between the frontal and the parietal we are having a suture named coronal suture, like corona. This is coronal suture. Between the parietal and the parietal we have a suture known as lambdoidal suture, and there is a suture in between the parietal and the occipital is known as sagittal suture. Fine, easy. Between frontal and parietal, coronal suture. Between parietal and parietal, lambdoidal. And between parietal and occipital, sagittal. Fine, these are some sutures. Now if you see the picture of the NCERT which is given in the NCERT, this is the frontal bone, this is the parietal bone, this is the occipital bone, this is the temporal bone. Clear? Now here the sphenoid and ethmoid will not be visible properly, but here this is the sphenoid and here this is the ethmoid bone. Other bones like mandible also have shown you, maxilla also have shown you, cheekbone called zygomatic also have shown you, nasal bone, lacrimal bone. Okay, these all bones has been given over here. Now I told you, like in the skull skeleton 22 bones are present in the skull and one bone is present at the base of the buccal cavity. Fine, and there are 6 ear ossicles, 3 on each side. Now in the hyoid bone, you can see, is it a U-shaped bone? Tell me. So that's why I wrote here, it is a U-shaped bone. Fine. Where it is present? So if they will ask you about location, so it is present at the base of the buccal cavity. In the old NCERT they gave and it is a part of the skull, but now it is being revised and the sentence that is it is present in it is present at the base of the buccal cavity and is the part of the skull has been removed. Only what is given? Base of the buccal cavity. So how many bones in the skull? 22. Previously we were taking 22 as well as 23. No need to worry, in the option still if 22 or 23 comes, any one single will be coming. So you can go for any one, 22 or 23. If both comes 22 and 23, you have to definitely opt for 22, not 23. Fine. Now this U-shaped bone called hyoid bone is the only bone which is having no articulation with any other bone. Fine. If it is not having any articulation with any other bone, then to what it is attached with? It is attached with other muscles of the body like tongue, neck, okay, pharynx, larynx, which you have studied in which chapter? Breathing and exchange of gas. Fine. So these are some things that is attached to the hyoid bone. Okay, now if we see about ear ossicles, very tiny bones are present. How many ear ossicles I told you? Three. First ear ossicle name is malleus. What it is called? Malleus. That's why I told, I've written here malleus. Second one is known as incus, and third one is known as stapes. Here what kind of questions they can ask, that I will be telling you. Fine. First type of question, which is the largest ear ossicle? Then you have to tell which one? Malleus. Which is the smallest ear ossicle? You have to tell stapes. Which is the smallest bone of the body? Then also you have to tell stapes. So if they will ask you to arrange in an order from higher or the largest to the smallest, means this will be the sequence. Fine. Now let's see about the individual bones, malleus, incus and stapes. Now as I have already told you, like it is the largest bone, correct? It is the largest ear ossicle, and they can ask what is the shape of the malleus. Then you can see here it is hammer shaped. Okay, then malleus is the modification of which bone they can ask. So just remember, it is the modification of articular bone. Fine. And where it is present? It will be present near the tympanum. Where it will be present? It will be present near the tympanum. As the ear topic has been removed from the NCERT, okay, still you would be knowing, like whatever I am speaking now, it is entering into your external auditory canal, then it is going to the what? Tympanic membrane or tympanum. That is actually the eardrum. You would have read about tympanum in frog. On the either side of the eye, tympanum was present. Correct or not? So this is the eardrum. So attached with the eardrum, some bones will be present. So first one is the malleus. Okay. Second one, let's see about incus. What is the shape of the incus, they can ask. So shape of the incus is anvil shaped. What is anvil? Whenever you are taking one hammer and you want to crush something to make a sheet, that is called anvil. So anvil shaped means you have to tell or opt for incus. Now they can similarly ask, this incus is the modification of which bone? Then you have to tell quadrate bone. Fine. And where it is present, you have to tell it is present in between malleolus and malleus and stapes. The last one is stapes. It is the most important bone, or it is the most important ear ossicle, as it is the smallest bone of the body. Okay, if they will ask what is the shape of the stapes, means you have to tell it is stirrup shaped. Okay, it is stirrup shaped. If they will ask you what it is the modification of which bone, you have to tell which bone. It is hyomandibular bone. This is important. Fine. Now definitely the joints I will be teaching you at the end of the lecture, but now as we are reading about these three bones, okay, let's see the kind of joint present in between them. So the joint present between malleolus and incus, that means MIS. Okay, you can remember this as MIS. MIS. So between malleus and incus, what joint is present? Hinge joint. Between incus and stapes, what is present? Ball and socket joint. Fine, I'll be telling you actually what is a hinge joint and what is ball and socket joint after some time. Now at the base, here I told you, here what is present? Occipital no, I told you occipital bone, correct? So in the occipital bone, two condyles will be present, one this side and one this side, correct? So just imagine, can I rotate my neck completely? No, correct? So why I am not able to rotate it completely? See, just imagine this is the head. If it is articulated in a single point, then what you can do? You can easily rotate it, correct? You can easily rotate it like this. But what if you are attaching it with both the side. So limited movement will be there, correct or not? So we have two occipital condyles and hence we are known as dicondylic, or we are having what kind of skull? Dicondylic skull. Fine. Now if we are having two occipital condyles, we are coming under dicondylic. Sir, any other phylum or any other class, are they dicondylic in nature? Then I will tell yes. Skull which is dicondylic is present in amphibians and mammals. Fine. And the skull is monocondylic in reptiles and birds. So this question, if they ask how many of the following is having dicondylic skull, that means you have to tell, or you have to see how many of them are mammals and how many of them are amphibians. This you can easily know by revising animal kingdom, okay, which is the most important chapter I'll be telling you in the whole biology, because that is the base for each and every animal will be having some mention in whole animal physiology, correct? Now if I will tell, on the base of the occipital bone there will be a hole like this, okay, which is known as foramen magnum. What it is called as? Foramen magnum. What is the use of this foramen magnum? Okay, here you would have read about the brain. Here last part is medulla oblongata. So whenever the medulla oblongata is extending down like this, so it will be entering into the foramen magnum and it will extend till the L1 L2. L1 L2 I will tell you what it is, like lumbar 1 and 2. Fine. So that extended part is nothing but our spinal cord. Fine. So if they will ask, the spinal cord extends from the head through one aperture or a foramen known as foramen magnum. Fine. Now let's see about our vertebral column. Okay, this is the vertebral column backside you have. Normally you are taking one name known as backbone, correct? Now first of all we need to know about the vertebral formula. What is vertebral formula? See, these bones are known as cervical vertebrae. Cervical vertebrae means the vertebrae which is present on the neck region. Okay, this is cervical vertebrae. If you count, means you will get cervical vertebrae to be 7. Okay, now thoracic vertebrae in the thorax region. Okay, how many bones are present or how many vertebrae are present? I can write T12. Here lumbar vertebrae are present. How many lumbar are present? I can write L as 5. And this one is the sacrum. And this end one is the coccyx. So sacrum is 1, coccyx is also 1. This is for adults. Now they can ask second type of question. See, first type of question I have just told you, like what is the vertebral formula for human. So you can tell C7, T12, L5, S1, C1. Now what if they will tell in child, what is the vertebral formula? You have to tell C7, T12, L5, S5 and C4. That means when a child is born, the child is usually having over 300 bones or near to 305 bones. After that what will happen? It will start to merge. Okay, it will start to merge and finally will be having 206 bones. That is clear. So fused bones, these 5 bones will fuse to form a single sacrum, 4 bones will fuse to form a single coccyx. Now based on this, few important points we need to know about all the vertebrae. Cervical vertebrae, if C7, I can name them as C1, C2, C3 and so on, C7. If I am talking about T12, means I can tell them as T1, T2, T3, T4 and so on. If I am talking about lumbar, I can tell similarly L1, L2 like this L5. Correct? Now, about cervical vertebrae. This is an important point. The number of cervical vertebrae are 7 in almost all the mammals. Okay, one question is very famous. The long neck of the giraffe is due to. Then the options will be more number of cervical vertebrae. That will be the correct option. If the cervical vertebrae will become from 7 to 70, where will be my head? It will be on the top floor. Correct? So that is one kind of question that you can face in the examination. Now, which of the following vertebrae is the largest mammalian vertebrae? Then you have to opt for lumbar vertebrae. Which one? Lumbar vertebrae. Fine. Now, they can ask what or how many bones are fused to form sacrum. Then you can tell 5 bones are fused to form a single sacrum. How many bones are fused to form coccyx? You can tell 4 bones are fused together to form a single coccyx. Now, what is this vestigial organ means? In class 12th, you would have studied about, if you are reading in class 11th, you are going to read about it in evolution chapter. There we will be coming across this vestigial organ. Now, what is a vestigial organ? Our ancestors, okay, over a million of years ago, some organs which are still present in us was functional in them, but over a period of time, it has lost its functionality. Fine. Now, what will happen if we remove that particular organ? No significant impact will be there. So these kind of organs, okay, are known as vestigial organ. Any other vestigial organ if you know? Can anyone tell? Appendix. If you are removing appendix surgically, there is no what significant impact. Third molar, you would have studied about the dental formula 2123 by 2123. So that last 3 or the third molar, which is also termed as wisdom teeth, is also coming under vestigial organ. Fine. So these are the total 26 bones present in vertebral column. So C 7, thoracic 12, lumbar 5, 1 sacrum and 1 coccyx. Total equals to how many? 26 in adult. What if they are asking about child? You add here 4 and here 3. 26 plus, see, 12 plus 7, 19 plus 5, 24 plus 5, 29 plus 3, 29 plus 4, 33. So in child, how many vertebrae are present? 33. This is clear about vertebral column. Now there are some curvatures. Curvature means what? You would have seen some curves. Okay, whenever you are going to hill stations, okay, curve road ahead, loop road ahead, they are telling. So these are some curvatures. The first curvature is formed due to the presence of what? Cervical region. Fine. So that is why what this curvature will be called as cervical curvature. Now what if they will ask to which side it is curved? That means to anterior side it is curved. Okay, to anterior side it is curved. Now second one is the thoracic curvature. It is curved towards the posterior end. Third one is the lumbar. It is curved again towards the anterior surface. The fourth one is your sacral curvature. Okay, you can tell sacral coccygeal curvature as well. Fine, these are the four curvature. See, as it is, they are never going to ask what is cervical curvature. Sometimes in the question, to understand the question, we need this.